Broncos country, we are live. What is popping, guys? It's your boy Marco Marquis Sports. Man, I've been enjoying these lives. I don't know if y'all caught it yesterday, but we had a awesome live session with me and Kodiak Talks Broncos and David Talks Sports. It was awesome. It was fun. We did a wheel of mock draft, kind of let the wheel of chaos dictate where we were going to go. But I'll tell y'all something. Make sure, if you haven't already, you go subscribe to both of those gentlemen's channels. They're awesome. They're rock stars. They're putting out great content all the time. And more importantly, man, they're just great people. So go show them some love and some support for sure. But, you know, as we know, guys, we are about a week away, man. I can't believe the draft is next Thursday. Excited about that. And it's going to be fun. But it's definitely, you know, the time of the season where we start throwing smoke and some crazy reports start coming out. And it started yesterday and it continued on to today. And we're going to get into that, man. But Judson Cake, what's going on, man? My man, I appreciate you coming on to the live stream. So thanks for showing support. But yeah, yesterday, man, we got a little article from Mike Kliss. He was talking about defensive line and how the Broncos, you know, might get a couple different defensive linemen for all the different reasons that we had talked about. That made a lot of sense, right? You know, with the John Franklin Myers contract, he's gonna be a free agent next season. Not a lot of guarantees this year. Obviously Zach Allen, which I think we're gonna get a deal done with him, but he's gonna want a new contract and an extension. And then Malcolm Roach. So, you know, not anything breaking news, but the fact that those kinds of things are coming out is always interesting because they try to throw a little bit of direction. And then today, Trevion Henderson decides, you know, he has a top 30 visit with the Broncos. The Broncos have had top 30 visits with a lot of running backs. And yet this one gets a lot of news. It kind of starts to get leaked. Everybody's talking about the Broncos taking a running back at pick 20, which I think is obviously very possible. But it's just funny because it's like, this is the time of the year, man, the week leading up to the draft where there's just going to be a lot of smoke screens, a lot of crazy things happening. So instead of really diving into it, I think that there's a couple of things that are really interesting that we're going to break into. So let's go ahead and look at the top 30 visit tracker right now. Oh, let's go do this. There you go. Get into this top 30 visits and look into not just the top 30 visits, but also I'll flip myself over to this side. Also, you know, where are we at in terms of, oh, come on, Excel. I think we're good now. Maybe we'll go up a little bit more. So the way we have this broken down is, you know, the projection of the player. Did they meet him at an all-star game? Did they meet him at a combine, at the pro day? Did they have a top 30 visit? And it's really interesting, man. So, you know, I have it grouped here by the guys that are going to be projected to be first round or borderline first round picks. When you look at it, they met with Genty, Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, and Omarion Hampton, all at the combine. I don't really view it like, oh, if they met him at a combine versus meeting him at a top 30 visit, I don't put too much of a difference into those things personally. I think it's one of those situations where, like, you meet with them, you're showing interest. A lot of it's going to be on the film. You might want to bring top 30 visit guys in because you're curious about the type of person that they are, whether there's very good things reported about them or maybe some red flags. I think that's really when you want to have more of that intimate. And when you look at this, you know, Genty, obviously, I don't think he's going to be a possibility for the Broncos should we want to make a huge move up, which I just don't see happening. Kenneth Grant is somebody that I ultimately don't think is going to be available at 20, but he's definitely possible. Walter Nolan, I think he will be available at 20 with some of the character concerns, but who knows? Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, they're going to, you know, Tyler Warren definitely won't be available at 20. Colston Loveland, I don't think is going to be available either. And then Omarion Hampton, I think will be ultimately available at 20, but they did meet with him at the combine. And then they also met with Genty at his pro day. So they're obviously showing a lot of interest. There was that video that came live. I don't know if he was on a podcast or where he was at, but he was talking about, oh, the Broncos show me a lot of love. And that gets a lot of people excited, but I don't know. I don't view Ashton Genty as a realistic possibility for the Broncos. I don't think that we're going to want to give up what we're going to need to in order to move up. But I mean, if you're going to get a running back and you're going to commit to it in the first round, you might as well double down and get the best one by far and away in this draft, and Ashton Genty. So getting into the top 30 visits, we had Matthew Golden, Quinshon Judkins, Luther Burden, Maxwell Hairston, and Trevion Henderson all come in as a top 30 visit. And for whatever reason, when Trevion Henderson went and visited, it got a lot of buzz and it started to get leaks and it started to have these reporters come out talking about, oh, running back at 20 is very realistic for the Broncos. I do think that there's a lot of smoke here. I also do think Trevion Henderson kind of sparked that because he is a perfect fit for Sean Payton. Let's face it, guys. If you're going to take a running back at pick 20 in the first round, Trevion Henderson makes more sense than the other guys, aside from Genty, who's not going to be there at 20. He makes more sense than Omarion Hampton and Quinshon Judkins, in my opinion, because he is a better fit. Whatever running back we end up drafting, he's gonna be a part of a committee anyways. You know, he's gonna have 15 to 20 touches a game, probably no more than that. So give me the guy that's already used to, being in a committee, that's already shown he can be unbelievably productive, and that anytime he touches the football, anytime this dude is going to be able to take it to the house and get yourself chunk plays. Whereas, with other guys, it might take a little bit more of getting into a rhythm and a groove for them to be able to really make a big impact. But Trevion Henderson, I think he checks all of the boxes. Every single box that we know Sean Payton likes to have checked for a running back, Trevion Henderson checks it. He just does. He wants, especially for rookies, because if you want to get playing time as a rookie, there's some non-negotiables. He wants somebody that's good in pass protection. Trevion Henderson is elite at pass pro in terms of a college prospect. He wants someone that can catch the ball to the backfield. Trevion Henderson can do that. He wants to be able to have somebody that doesn't fumble the ball, good ball security. Trevion Henderson checks that box. Also, the other common things that all teams want, right? Good contact balance, good vision, being able to have those explosives, mismatches. He does all of that. You look at somebody like Omarion Hampton, he's going to check a lot of the same boxes too, right? I think he can be good in pass pro, but he's not up to the standards of Trevion Henderson. Ball security is good. In the pass game, there's going to be some question marks. I think he could be a really good pass catcher, but he's not, I don't care what the numbers show in terms of like the screens and stuff. He's not a natural separation maker when it comes to catching the football. In fact, I would say, I think Quinshon Judkins is a better receiver than Omarion Hampton is. What makes Omarion Hampton so special is his vision, his contact balance, his ability to just not go down after first tackle. His yards after contact is super high. And he's just very durable, man. He's somebody that runs angry, runs tough, got some wiggle to him. So I like that. But anyways, some other guys that came in for visits that I think it's really intriguing for me is Matthew Golden, right? I love the player. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's probably the best wide receiver in this draft class personally. Just a very good route runner, man. He can get open. He's a separation getter. Where he fits in this wide receiver room, you can figure it out because he can do everything really well. But if you're looking for more of a Z receiver, right? Someone that's going to catch balls across the middle, be involved in the blocking a little bit more. He's not necessarily that guy. He can win in the slot and he can win outside. Luther Burden is really interesting to me too, because I see a dynamic player, a playmaker, someone that is really just fun with the ball in his hands. The player comp that I've seen a lot for him was Marvin Mims Jr. And I can totally see that. I actually fully agree with that player comp happening. And that's why I don't think he's necessarily the best fit for us, because he kind of does a lot of the things that Marvin Mims does already. I think Marvin's gotten a little bit better at a lot of things too in his time in the league, but that's an interesting one. And then Maxwell Hairston, this one caught my attention because Maxwell Hairston is somebody that I think has got a very big range of possibilities. You've got a lot of guys that think he's a first round talent. You got a lot of guys that think he's more of a second, third rounder. So you're talking about somebody that can go between rounds 1 and 3. That's big. And using a pro day visit on him, a top 30 visit, I like it. I think he's a really good player. Obviously a dynamic athlete, and someone at, a corner at 6'1", 6'2" is always going to be very highly sought after. Ain't no doubt about that. But you can see how many guys the Broncos met with at the combine, right? Getting into the day 2 guys. Trey Amos, Elijah Arroyo, Mason Taylor, Devin Neal, Caleb Johnson, and Marcus Bowe. And Marcus Bowe, they also had a pro day visit with him as well. So they kind of doubled up with him. But you see a consistency in terms of what we're doing. We are targeting tight ends, corners, running backs, wide receivers, and I guess one interior lineman. But that's really an interior defensive lineman. So that's the theme you see across the board here. One safety, one interior lineman. But really, it's going to be a lot revolved around a lot of the skill position players. You got a couple of like linebackers here and there sprinkled, but those are the kind of the day 1, day 2. We'll mix in some day 2, day 3 guys. So really, oh, I see day 3. So it's gonna be later. Yeah, that makes more sense. So you're talking about, in the top 100 picks, there's going to be a lot of the similar kind of skill position players, running backs, tight ends, corners, wide receivers. And Judson, I agree with you 100%. They love to pick their corners. They do. They'll draft one. They basically draft one every single year. Whether it's more of a slot guy or an outside guy. This is a really good draft for it because I think even later on, like guys like Noel Williams from Cal is someone that I think is a very good corner that would fit this defensive scheme that you can get day 2, day 3, right? And so there's quite a bit of those types of players later on as well. And yeah, they do. They love to pick their corners. I think that there's going to be quite a bit that they end up getting. Not going to make this too long of a live today. I have a super busy evening, so I wanted to just put some stuff out today. That's why I'm a little bit earlier, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. But other guys, let's try to see. I mean, are there any guys here that came in for a top 30 visit that they also met with at the combine? First one that stands out is Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson, another one of those running backs that I think people really love, or they might not be the biggest fan of. I'm kind of not the biggest fan of Caleb Johnson for a couple different reasons, but I could see the fit there working. But the fact that they met with him at a combine, they also had a top 30 visit for him. Really interesting, right? And then they had a workout visit meeting type of thing with Devin Neal and also met with him at the combine. So that was really interesting. Let's see if there's anybody else here, even with the late guys. So, I mean, make of this what you want. But of all of the guys that they brought in for a top 30 visit, the only ones that they also met with elsewhere outside of the top 30 visit, the only guy is Caleb Johnson. What does that mean? I don't know. It might not necessarily mean anything. They really could have met with everybody at the combine, and I'm surprised. Like, did they really not meet with Quinshon? Usually, you save these top 30 visits for guys that you didn't get the opportunity to talk with at the combine. But it looks like with Caleb Johnson, that was not the case. They ended up doing it with both. Let me double check that. Yeah. So he is the only one. So like I said, make of that what you wish. I'm just at the point now where I'm sick of talking about like, who do I think the Broncos are going to take, or should they take a running back, or should they not, or wide receiver. I'm just at the point now, man, with a week left in the draft. I just want to figure out who the hell they get. But if you're asking me what the best thing to do is, I think it's still trading back if the opportunity presents itself. I think the Broncos are in a unique position at 20 to where if there's a team that's targeting Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, that's going to be the spot that a lot of these teams are going to want to trade up to, because the Steelers pick at 21, right? Or if Shedeur falls, it could happen. But these are all obviously hypotheticals, and I get that Sean Payton has never traded back in his career. That does not mean that things will change. Like, that does not mean that, like, oh, this year he's not going to do it, because this is a really, really, really good year to trade back if you can. And I truly believe that Sean Payton will be like, yeah, we'll trade back if it means the best thing for the team. There might just not have been a lot of situations in the past where that happened. Could he trade up? Absolutely. If he's just head over heels in love with Tyler Warren or Colson Loveland or Ashton Genty. They'll work those things out, and there's a possibility where they can go up there and get them. But I love the idea of trading back, get some more picks, and be able to make sure that you go out there and take as many of these project corners from a small school in round 3 who sucks but has nice athleticism. I don't know about round 3. I think you're talking about day 3, or you're just on your drunk John Elway vibe still, which I could totally understand if you're still feeling a little woozy from last night, Kodiak and the drunk John Elway. But yeah, anyways, man, I thought it was interesting. A lot of names really stood out to me in terms of on this list. I'm going to go through it here real quick, and then I'll reshare if there's anybody else that I feel like kind of stood out. And I don't know what like workout / visit / meeting means in comparison to top 30. Maybe they held a private workout with them separately. Guys like Isaac Tesla, Arian Smith, Ty Felton, they had those kinds of visits with. Some day 3 guys like Brennan Crenshaw as a developmental tackle, who I really actually like. They had a personal, workout with him. Vernon Broughton, they brought in for a top 30 visit. They have him here as day 3. I don't think Vernon Broughton is going to be a day 3 pick at all. But Will Shepard was brought in for a top 30 visit. Or no, he was not. It was Elijah Ponder was. So interesting stuff. I still can't believe they used a top 30 visit on Cam Miller. But it is what it is. Anyways, y'all, appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I got a meeting I got to get to, and then I got a really busy evening this tonight with the family. But y'all be sure to take care of yourselves, man. Thanks for all the love. Go Broncos. And until the next video, you already know what to do, man. Peace out.